hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. The world is waking up, and this is the tipping point.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott McKay here, Patriot Street Fighter, with a guest tonight that you've seen in the past. And you know that some of the information we've gotten from this lady right here and her counterparts from the Royal House of We the People, and as you know, Anna Marins, can't pronounce her actual last name. I think it's Conclavis. How do you pronounce that, Anna? Anna Marins, Carolina.
Yeah,
Carolina.
Anna Carolina Marins Goncalves.
Goncalves. I actually pronounced that one day when you weren't watching me, and I nailed it. I was like, it has to be how it is. So at least I know I got it right when you weren't looking. Anyways, Anna has been working with me in some respect for probably 3 or 4 years now. I've been promising her I'd be coming to Brazil to do an event there in Brazil with Charlie Ward. I wasn't able to make it 2 times. I had planned on that, didn't happen. But Brazilians, it's going to happen sooner or later, probably sooner. But Anna and Mike Likens and Jim Cranker have been dropping massive bombs, not just on the U.S. debt clock, the bombs they've been sharing with us on what is to come with the financial system, with the revaluation of currencies, but primarily gold, silver, what all that means to the future for asset-backed currencies the United States is going to be releasing here in the near future. But what I found quite interesting as I've gotten to know Anna is that she's not unlike the United States mama bears. And as I said from day one, I cannot still figure out even to this day when I say, where are my countrymen? Where are my countrymen? We're out here fighting this war, fighting this battle to try to bring this, help, do our part to bring this satanic machine down that's controlled all governments, all countries. And obviously the culture from the top has bled down to local, where even in local counties and districts, there is so much corruption and so much theft, and it just became unchecked corruption. So these institutions have basically been a breeding ground for corrupt people locally, especially locally, who do all kinds of underhanded shit, hiding the truth from people, setting up meetings for town, city councils, school board meetings under the cover of darkness where people don't even know. All kinds of bullshit that's going on in this country, culturally, clear to the bottom. It's a disgrace to the nation, and that's our battlefield. That is the target. Those are the crosshairs for this Operation Patriot Street Fighter, has been for a couple of years, to start teaching people how to root out local corruption. Because once we start, we will turn this thing around fast, build a culture again in this country where if you don't have integrity, you don't get anywhere near any voting capacity, any level of power. I assure you that's going to happen. I don't stop this for years and decades until we are there. So this person you're looking at beside me has the same DNA. In Brazil, she's paid a heavy price because of all the bullshit that started in 2019, 2020, the bioweapon, the forced vaccines, all that stuff took her business away, her shop away in Brazil, her and her sister. And she's dealing with family members that got vaccinated, like a lot of people out there, a lot of us. We couldn't tell our families we couldn't get through their head that this is a bioweapon. And of course, her family's having some challenges. That's put a lot of weight on her and her sister. God love them. Unfortunately, the Matrix was very effective at programming people to believe the big pharma machine, the murder machine. And on top of that, just trying to survive all of that and take care of her parents, um, she's built an offensive machine in Brazil, and one of the leading voices in the entire nation to wake the Brazilians up to the same things that we're waking up to as well. Tonight's show is the beginning of a four-part series to help you and me understand the significance of Brazil to the future of this nation, which caught me by surprise. And let me tell you how that happened. Anna came in to the United States for the Fraud Fighter Summit in Las Vegas a few weeks back, and many of you knew we were there. And Juan O'Savin insisted that she needed to come here from Brazil and be at this event for certain reasons, which led her to come to the US for 10 days, first time here, and led her to the second night of being here, having dinner with Juan O'Savin, and as well as Cranker, and also former President Bolsonaro in Brazil, his son, who was here in the country as well to see the screening of the new film about his father having been a president, basically the Brazilian Donald Trump. They did to him what they did to Trump. The only difference between Bolsonaro and Trump is that, of course, they tried to assassinate him too, was that they actually got him in prison, brought him up on bullshit charges, anything they could to put him in prison. And they did that. They tried to do it to Trump, but he was successful beating it back. However, through the course of this 10-day period, she had had several dinners with Juan Savin. And he had shared with her, and also wants her back here again in the fall for the next Fraud Fighter Summit, and wants to be plugged into her more closely on behalf of the Brazilian people, because he explained to her how important Brazil is to the United States and how important the United States is going to be to Brazil moving forward. And this is going to be exciting information because I don't know what it is yet. She's going to share with me what she learned from Juan. But before we get into all that, that may not even come tonight. But what is going to come tonight, we are going to get a bit of a background history lesson on Brazil, its history, to the degree she's going to take us through this and learn the things about Brazil that have me intrigued to find out where this woven fabric is going to begin for these two nations. Brazil's a massive nation, massive firepower for an economy that obviously is suffering at this point because the same cabal powers have done to them what they've done to all the other countries. But it's very intriguing to me. So first and foremost, we're going to get to learn a little bit about Brazil, its history, and Anna, her family bloodline is tied to the former royal capacities of that nation. Now, obviously, you know, a lot of the royal families have been pushed out, pushed aside, and they brought in cabal puppets, prime ministers, presidents, you name it. But her DNA is rooted in the past royalty of that country. But I'm going to jump in head first, start asking questions. Anna, it's so good to have you here. It was so great to have you in Las Vegas. And I just got to tell you, you are the consummate badass. Men don't have the balls you have, especially in this country, to do what you do, to wage this battle. And it could cause you big problems and be somewhat dangerous in a country that maybe might not be as protected as we are here. And it still baffles me to this day how in so many ways we have to rely on the women on the battlefield to win this war. Where are the men? Where are my countrymen? I'm talking about the guys who are active. We know who they are. Where the hell are the rest of the men who are supposed to be the protectors and defenders of all men, women, country, etc.? But I'm very inspired because the women are teaching the men what being a warrior is in many capacities. Obviously, you exemplify that on every level. So it's great to have you here tonight. I'm looking forward to kicking this series off and learning about Brazil, its history, and how it is going to be a momentous alliance and relationship for the United States as we rebuild the Western Hemisphere's power base and the entire global economy. So where do we start with Brazil?
Well, I'm going to start with Brazil, talking about the 250th anniversary of America, of United States. And I wrote of course, the first nation that commemorates and honors the United States in its blessing, because the 250th anniversary is a big blessing for a nation. So the first country who did that was the United Kingdom. I believe it's out of respect of the opponent, but the second one was Brazil. And we, the Royal House of We the People, created this token of alliance, of friendship, which is the love that I have. That I always cherish the United States. I always had the opportunity to visit the United States many times. Las Vegas was this time was a totally different experience. Was my first time as seeing Las Vegas not as a gambling place, but an entertainment place that is being built over the decades, and it's going to be the new Hollywood, as Juan has always has mentioned that. And in this mug that I wrote what I think it's America and the Western Hemisphere, so all of us. So America is a dream, an idea, a promise carried in the hearts committed to the eternal flame of Christ. As pilgrims of this time and explorers of our own divine right to a sovereign life, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of the Independence. As a beacon of this commitment, settled 250 years ago, we share this promise with every nation around thy glorious world. So it's not only a mission for you guys, because you go ahead with the blessing and we all are going to work together. So this is my token of appreciation of my commitment to you, to United States, a country that always received me very well, that taught me how to be brave, how to be free, how to create, how to believe in myself through listening to Whitney Houston, Tupac, Michael Jackson, and my own experiences while there. And I lived in the United States for a brief time in my life, and I had the opportunity to see the problems you guys are nowadays mentioning, like the Sharia law and the necessity, how urgent it is for us all to engage in this commitment to our nation as well here in Brazil. But I want to have this opportunity with you, which is you are my favorite person over in this whole movement, because you are authentic, like I am. We don't go by scripts. And I want to share. It's an honor for me to talk about my country that I love, the people that I see every day in my country that are struggling all their lives, and it's like any other country in the world. We are so rich. We are wealthy, much more than we can imagine, and we have been robbed in so many ways. And I think the worst thing that has been done to us is losing trust among each other, among neighbors. This is for me the worst thing that they could do. And that's how this is the divine thing that we are doing, is to creating back the bridges that will make people remember or to feel again the necessity of believing each other, that together we are going to build back better, And so it's an honor for me to talk about Brazil. This series is going to be, oh my God, from my history lessons in the past, also the history that is being revealed, the untold history that we are all receiving right now. And there are so many details that now that I know about the Q operation out loud and clear, I understand some things that happened in the past that maybe what was put out to the people is not exactly as bad or right. It's part of a mission, and the mission is changing right now. It's not that it's changing, but it's upgrading. We are upgrading the mission. So it's not going to, it's not, it's an endless movie. That's my take. It's an endless movie, but it's also an upgraded version. It's always better. It's for you to engage more, learn more, discover more. I love it. I have no problems with that. So I hope everyone feels the same. I want to see how I can share my slides. I prepared only 3 slides with a few very important information, I believe. Here, I see the share.
It's interesting how this is kind of a repeat with back in 2021 when Juan had about 20 or 25 of us podcasters in Las Vegas to get onto a unifying track. And of course, we saw, they were releasing Sound of Freedom. Jim Caviezel was there with us, so we could all see him, spend time with him, and see the film. Sound of Freedom was an incredibly impactful change in the way we saw everything. I'm going to go ahead, and the first one you sent me is Brazil's the 5th largest country in the world. Is that fine?
Yes,
Is that
perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. That's the first one. I want
Great.
to give you the numbers
Okay.
because we have all the numbers. So this is Brazil. Brazil is the largest country in South America, and we should have been bigger than this. But in the future, I believe that probably it will change. But nowadays we have 27 states and this massive 8 million square kilometers. I don't know. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the math and change to know the area. But if you check, I once learned that if you consider all the inland United States, it could fit inside of Brazil.
Wow.
All the people. Yes. So we are massive. We are not considered, in the past, we were not considered as only a kingdom. We were an empire because of the large amount of territory that we have. And every state has everything you plant, it will grow. Anything you plant will grow. And nowadays we have 27 states. Brasilia, not Buenos Aires, please, not Buenos Aires, but Brasilia is the capital. My family was directly involved on building Brasilia, but as many people, but my family only knew an opportunity to work and to provide to the family, so they took the opportunity and they traveled to the center of Brazil, which is a beautiful area, lots of important energy fields, and how can I say, minerals, and it's seated over a huge dam. Okay, so it's pure energy. The center of Brazil. There are beautiful waterfalls, sceneries that you can't imagine how beautiful it is. So the whole country of Brazil is beautiful. We are, in Portuguese, we are named Brazil with the S, not with the Z. But in the past, we used to be called Brazil with a Z, the same way you guys call us nowadays. So we are the fifth largest country in the world, the 5th largest country in the world. Yes. We are 213 million people. When I get these numbers, I think, oh my God, how can we reach all these people? Please, God, provide us the way. So reach them so we can make it happen easier. But anyway, Brazilians are 213 13 million people. 91% live in urban areas, totally because of how the poverty in the countryside of Brazil, because of the differently from United States, our colonization happened in a different way. Many countries came to Brazil with the same idea. Oh, I'm gonna conquer that land. I'll make my future over there. So France, Netherlands, England, Portugal, Spain, all these countries were willing to come to Brazil and to settle here because of this moment in time. They were already organizing. And because of that, we were all these expeditions to South America, to Brazil. They say it was discovered. It was not discovered. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were coming here because of this new era, this new beginning that we are now entering, this new golden age. But the idea that was going to be planted was the new world order, which I in my belief, we are living the downfall of the new world order. Anyway, so Brazil, the GDP is over 2.1 trillion, which sounds a lot, but trillions, Juan 07 mentioned that during his lecture. You talk about trillions in a world of quadrillions, it sounds a lot. This is nothing, okay? 2.1 trillion dollars as GDP is for the dummies. It's for the population that knows nothing, that are watching TV. We are much more wealthy than these numbers. We are the leading country on the BRICS. We are the B of the BRICS. So because we are the biggest economy, we are heavy net exporter of agricultural goods, petroleum, and iron ore. Brazil doesn't need to buy any kind of food. We can plant everything, and we can cattle and everything will be happening in Brazil. Coffee, milk, corn, anything you wish for, there's in Brazil. There's a place for this in Brazil. So it's
beef.
Yeah, beef. We have the largest, and we were bought the largest beef company in the world was Brazilian, and now it belongs to the Chinese. But anyway, it's so Brazil. This is a brief numbers on Brazil. Okay, the most important asset that Brazil have is the Brazilians, the people of Brazil. That's my take. There's no coffee, there's no milk, there's no beef better than a person who has a hint of blood, a hint of Brazilian in their blood. I love my people, despite the fact that we still have to educate ourselves. We have to have much better manners. We have to improve in many aspects, but I love the people from my country. You can go to the next one. The next one comes with a flag over the map.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is in the center, almost in the center of the image, we have the continent called Brazil. I call it a continent, not a nation, but a continent named Brazil with our flag. This is the current flag we are using.
Okay.
This flag represents the royal imperial family of Brazil, which I am not related by blood, but I am related because I had the opportunity to meet some of them, and mostly because I love history and I love the brave men and women who created the story. Although there are many misdoings over there, none of them were perfect. And the flag we have, the green represents the Portuguese bloodline, and not yeah, the green represents the Portuguese bloodline, which they came here after the French Revolution, and the yellow represents the House of Habsburg, that is the mother of Brazil. Okay, and I will do an homage, a celebration to the lady who herself, she did the independence. She signed the independence of Brazil. And because of her, Dona Leopoldina, her name is Leopoldina. Leopoldina Carolina Josefa. It's her name. She was Austrian and a member of the House of Habsburg, which is related to Trump in many bloodline, in many with a kind of a distance, but they are blood related. And she's the mother of Brazil, and she had an amazing story of devotion to Brazil. Okay, just for example, just to share how brave this woman was. She didn't know how to speak Portuguese. She learned to speak Portuguese here when she came with 19 years of age to get married. She was already married. She was married with a certificate. And when she met her husband over here, from that day on, she decided that she would speak Portuguese because that's the way the Habsburg think. It's polite, the polite way. You come to a country, you embrace their culture, you introduce yourself to the country, but you serve and you commit to the locals. And I think that's very elegant and very necessary for us to talk about this nowadays that we are being invaded. Anyway,
Who's the race car driver there with his hands
oh
cupped?
yeah,
Who is that?
oh, he's the hero of
Who is that?
he was just named a hero of the country. His name is Ayrton Senna.
I
He's the
thought that was Senna. That folks, if you have not watched the movie called Senna, you have to watch it. It is an unbelievable story of a Formula One racer from Brazil, became the top in the world, and where he came from and how he got there, and his absolute relentless pursuit, professional pursuit, made him the top Formula One racer in the world. And I'm not going to tell you the ending of the story. It's incredible. And man, it'll capture your heartstrings. When I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, that's Senna. And
yeah.
for a second, I'm thinking Spain, Brazil, Spain, Brazil. Yeah, Senna was from Brazil. And the
No,
story
yeah.
is incredible. So you can see the movie on Netflix or Prime if you feel like watching something very interesting to make this connection. Brazil, watch the movie Senna,
Senna.
Senna. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
And his life and his because of all the digging and all the research that I do, I have learned so much that is not mentioned about Senna in his documentaries, in his books, in the movies that talk about him. The spectacular, this angelical person that he is, and he's the best driver in the history of Formula One. He is a national hero here in Brazil. Officially, he is a national hero in Brazil, and I placed him right next to the Amazon, because when you talk about Brazil, immediately you think about the rainforest of the Amazon and about Senna, and of course about soccer. We are almost in the end of the FIFA World Cup of this year, but nothing is compared to the guys who played in 1994, the same year that Senna passed away. Senna passed away in May 1st, 1994. I remember because
You
all
just
of
gave
this,
up the ending of the movie.
yeah, yeah, or the beginning. I believe that was the beginning. But anyway, so in that year, everyone was so tearful because of Senna. It was a very difficult year for the country, and the soccer team, offered gave gave the win dedicated the winning of the Copa of the FIFA World Cup, to Senna. But anyway, enough about Senna and the men's. We have as national animals. We have many, but my I have a dear care for the araras. They are lovely, these lovely parrots, blue parrots that fly around here. And near my house, every morning they fly in groups. They are so beautiful. And of course, when you talk about Brazil, you immediately think about Carnival, which is not a Brazilian festival. It was introduced to us and made popular by the agenda of the early 20th century. And nowadays it's a hit. Everyone in the world looks to come to Brazil during this time of the year. But the date and the massive quantity of child trafficking, of prostitution happens in during carnival season. It's terrible. If I hate carnival, but many people love it because of the colors, because of all the creations. I know about the money that fuels the system, so I despise this festival. If once everything is cleaned, then I may change my mind. But until then, for me, I don't give any attention to Carnival. But I know many people love this season. And of course, it happens, the main city where the Carnival happens is in Rio de Janeiro, my hometown, the city that I love the most. There are other beautiful cities in Brazil, like Florianópolis, like um, Belo Horizonte, Salvador. But I have a special relation to Rio. I was born underneath the Christ of the Redeemer. I was all my life. I opened my window and I saw him, and I asked it for his blessing. And now I know many things that happen inside of that mountain that are not very good, are not good at all. And once it's cleaned, we can celebrate it back to its beauty. But this is I wish I could make like a mood board about Brazil. Okay, everything is very beautiful. It's very festive. Senna is pure passion and emotion, and the parrots, when you see them flying, and it's like a fairy tale. It's like you are living in a different dimension. When the soccer players are playing together with their talent, not only techniques but talent. It's beautiful to see. It's like a dance, similar to carnival. Everyone playing and all the instruments. You see, it's a different level of energy. It's a different frequency. So we need all of that restored because can you imagine the my God, if everything, all this made by us, the people, we, the people, made to thy glory, to be happy, to everyone being living an honest life, uh, with dignity, with far away from from this terror organizations that were just that President Trump just incriminated. It's going to be a blessing to come to Brazil. It is already. I wouldn't. I when I when I when I spend a long time away from Rio, I want to go. I always want to go home. I just want to go home. For me, home is Rio. Although I love traveling the world and I can stay long time in different places, but Rio is very, very special. I hope people come here and see it and experience it in person, in real life. And of course,
Can you take us in the background of Brazil? At what point in America's history did Brazil become relevant as a neighbor, an ally, an economic tie, or what?
I believe that even before Brazil being Brazil and even before United States being United States, we are here. America was the girl of the dreams of the Templars and the the secret societies that were already residing in Europe. They were all heading back here. The Chinese came here before the Portuguese, before the Phoenicians came here. The Phoenicians are the Khazarians. So they all came here before our history. The history we have in the books are totally created. There were many people trying to come to Brazil and to United States and to settle in the land that we call home because of this moment. Everything is coming from America. And when I say America, I include Colombia, I include Venezuela, I include Chile, I include Peru, I include every country, Honduras, Cuba, even Cuba,
Salvador.
El Salvador, exactly, Mexico. Everyone was looking for to be here in America somewhere because it is going to be a new beginning. It's a new beginning for every it's oh my God, how can I say? So to United States, I can point for now. I can already point that President Lincoln was very keen of our Emperor Peter II, as I mentioned to you and to Michael Jaco, and to us while we were having dinner. Uh, uh, President Abraham Lincoln exchanged letters with the emperor here in Brazil, and they both didn't meet in person, but they knew um, they knew about each other, and they knew about uh, how Peter II was taking care of Brazil, and same and both of them were connecting to the Russians, to the Romanovs in Russia. So we are.
Another powerful ally of the United States is Russia. Most people don't know this. In fact, nobody in my era, nobody knew until we started to share this in the last decade. Our independence was perpetuated on the back of the ships of Russia sailing into San Francisco and New York to put an end to the British being able to resupply and do the things they did, even during the Civil War. Russia has been our ally. We probably wouldn't have our freedom or independence if it wasn't for Russia. The reason that the British Crown has vilified the Khazarian mobsters, have vilified Russia forever. They're still pissed 250 years later that they assisted us in the American Revolution so we could win our independence, and they assisted us in the era of the Civil War as well. And most people don't know that. Through my life, they made him the big bad wolf since we were kids in school. Russia was the evil ones, and everything about Russia was evil. And then, of course, we grew up, and It took somebody from Odessa, Ukraine, Odessa, a
Mhm.
world-renowned foot and ankle surgeon who's a personal friend of mine in Los Angeles, gave me the education of a lifetime. But
Mhm.
anyways, that being said, interesting tie to the Romanov family and Brazil, and that tie of Russia to the United States as well.
Yes, when I have been studying because of this idea that we all have of introducing more about Brazil and our history to even to Brazilians. I have been studying and digging deep. For example, when the Empress Leopoldina was here in Brazil, I'll make it I'll make it more detailed in the future. But when she was here, because of the French Revolution, she was very scared about her situation and her children. So many guards from Ireland used to come and guard her, not only the Brazilian guards, but she also had guards from Austria and guards from Ireland.
Wow.
So many countries are involved in all this process in a way that we don't see, in a way that it is on politics. We just don't know about it, and because now we are getting more motivated, and we are opening our hearts, and we are
They
God
don't
is
want to,
blessing us.
we only know what they want us to know. They don't want to know us that we
Yeah,
know
exactly.
that we have ties together in
Uh-huh.
history, because that means that they create division and distance, and they don't want us unifying, other people in other countries. That's always been part of their plan. Anyway, so we'll jump
So,
off of that. But
no, that's a very good point because it's all intertwined. It's all together. Santa, slide that we have.
okay.
We have just one more.
Oh, I had one pop up that wasn't actually your slide, but I'll bring it up anyhow because for some reason I guess I'm supposed to, because it popped up out of nowhere. And there's the general when he was
Oh,
Germany in the
McKay.
military. There's Sam McKay there in Germany, right about the time they were offering him the opportunity to go to West Point as an active
Yes, you
soldier.
mentioned that.
So there he is. I just That's his tank behind him. He was commander of that tank. He was in Germany. Anyways, hey Pop, good to see you. The general popped
Nice to see you.
General
Nice
popped
to
in
see you.
tonight. Okay, let me go grab the last one that came in. And here we are. Open up. Open up for me. There you go. Okay, we're gonna share. Get rid of this one. There's my share button. Okay. And here we go. Bolsonaro's
Oh, yeah. This is,
doppelganger.
well, the reason, of course, it's because I'm me and Flavio, no, Eduardo Bolsonaro, we are the only Brazilians. Well, yeah, we are the only Brazilians that already watched the movie.
Mhm.
I had the opportunity to watch it with you and Cranker and Juan in Las Vegas. This is Bolsonaro to everyone who is now listening to Scott here. And Bolsonaro is named by the movie as the Dark Horse. It's a play with the all the chess game. There's the Dark Horse piece, and Bolsonaro is that guy that no one was looking, no one was paying attention. And in 2018, he created a whole new uh,
Movement.
movement.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was. I remember when he came on. I loved this guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, by the way, President Bolsonaro, huge fan right here, Patriot Street Fighter of you. Watched the evolution of his rise to power. You know what I like about this guy?
Mm.
I don't want to say he reminds me of me, but um, it's kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I take my cues from a guy like Bolsonaro, but we're kindred spirits because we simply tell it like it is. Just hear the facts. You like it or not, right? He's a cut the bullshit kind of guy. Cut the bullshit. Stop the political speak. all the fancy dancing footwork, language, speaking in ways that make you sound real smart and important, but you say not a damn thing. And you don't say a thing to the people. They can't interpret what you say. The average, middle class person doesn't understand what these idiots say. And Trump, same thing. Let's talk in ways that everybody can understand what I'm saying, not just the elites or, the bullshit machine that they built to sound important to head fake we the people in the world. Uh, just comes right out and says it. It's kind of cool. He's just like, you know, I think when he was even in public, he says, "Yeah, I use the F word." Right? No bullshit. Not like Bill Clinton. Did you ever smoke marijuana? Yeah, but I never inhaled. Blatant fucking liar. Like in front of the whole world. Bolsonaro say, yeah, I use the word. you know, just say it like it is. Cut no lies, cut the bullshit. If you like me, great. If you don't vote for me. That's kind of his attitude. But he was able, like Trump, he was able to show the people uh, that the people counted more to the nation than a nation counted the people, because all the people are simply puppets of the power structure. They use them. They're useful idiots. At least that's how they see the people. That's why they call us sheep and useless feeders. The power structure, the elite, have always referred to us as useless feeders. That's how they all see. Bolsonaro didn't see the people that way. He was one of them. Neither did Trump. Didn't see the people that way. Even though he was a blue collar billionaire, still one of the people.
Yeah, well, Bolsonaro, look how interesting it is. Bolsonaro has the same birthday as Senna. They were both uh, born in the same date. And Bolsonaro has a middle name called Messiah. So when he came into the picture, because he was very much connected with the evangelical churches, many people said, "Oh, he is the new Messiah. He's coming to save us. He's coming to do. He's the second coming." And I kind of when I heard that the first time, I said, "Well, this is not random, but a second Messiah? No, come on, please." I am here to save me, and he is here to save himself. So if he needs me, I'll be there for him, and like that's what I look for. But many people here in Brazil had this idea that he was going to be the thunder, he's going to make it happen as a hero. And after the stab, he was stabbed in September 6th, 2018, one day prior to the Independence Day here in Brazil. And many people were crying, many people were in stress. In the moment I saw the news when I heard the news, I knew, oh, we have a new president. My family and we were always voting for Bolsonaro. As you said, we like his authenticity, but his story is much, much bigger than what we already seen. He was always the guy inside the military, questioning, making discomfort inside the military branch. And he's even bravest he's even more badass than we have seen yet. So, and he's very smart. He comes from an Italian mom and a German father. So he's Italian. And he was born here in Brazil, in São Paulo. And but all his career happened in Rio. And because he was extremely making the militaries very discomfort, he was placed aside. He was invited out, and because he's extremely intelligent. Okay, that's my take. Some people question if he's intelligent. Some people question is no. I think he's brilliant. He wouldn't make to the similar West Point Academy in Brazil. Okay, he was trained in the best place of Brazil for military. You don't get there by being
Jump.
yeah. No, no. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
The thing that
And
impressed me about him is that, in life, when you do have somewhat of a wingspan as you're expanding your track, your career track or whatever, is that I put him in two categories. You have people that are in these pursuits because they want to be part of the club, and then there are the others who simply want justice. And those who want to be part of the club, they'll allow anything that they see that is not righteous and just at the hands of the people, um, but they don't care because they want to be in the club. The club's more important than delivering a victory for the Brazilian people or delivering a victory for humanity. It's what can I get for you? That's why I have nothing but disdain for the political class in this country. I don't give a shit about the people. I don't care what they say. And I'd say to everyone, look, I've had congressmen, state senators come to Patriot Street Fighter events and speak for me, and I speak this way with them there because you're either fighting for the people or you're fighting for your own self-interest. I said that when I started Patriot Street Fighter. I said Patriot Street Fighter is an all-encompassing smoke out operation. We're going to find out who's fighting for the people and who's fighting for their own self-interest. And just my mere presence in many ways has made that happen. You see who I get attacked by. I'm like, well, there you go, right there. I don't have to do a thing. I just show up, the attacks start. There you go. There are
mhm,
people right there. They don't care about you because if they did, they'd be supporting my offensive weapon against this criminal power structure. But no, they're making attacks. Why? They want to butter up the people who are, pulling the levers of the power structure, become one of them. But this guy inside that powerful institution didn't matter what he saw. If it wasn't righteous, he was going to work against it and even ruffling feathers of higher level military brass. And what do you call a man like that? You call that a just human being. And they
mhm,
can't live any other way. They got to
mhm,
have, it's like, here's what Rudy Giuliani said about Ronald Reagan.
mm,
When he was a candidate, uh, as a presidential candidate, he said, look, he said, there are only two pure leaders in my lifetime. And when he's referring to politicians, he said, there's only two pure leaders I've seen in my whole lifetime. And he said, I'm including myself as one of those political leaders. There's only two pure leaders I've ever seen. He said this during the South Carolina primary. And he said, Ronald Reagan and Martin Luther King Jr. He said, both of them stood against the whole world on their own to right things that were wrong. And and of course Martin Luther King did that. And Reagan, same thing. I remember the campaign very well. I remember his first presidency and the second one. And when he called the Soviet Union an evil empire, the left went nuts and so did the right and so did his cabinet. You can't say that about them. You can, and he just simply said, if you don't tell them, how will they know?
mhm.
Right? Called him an
Yeah.
evil empire. And he just saw things in the world that were unjust and they weren't right. And he set out against them. In fact, when he went to Reykjavik to hopefully sign a nuclear arms reduction treaty with Mikhail Gorbachev, the first nuclear arms reduction treaty ever in the history of the world. They were in Reykjavik, Iceland for that meeting. And basically got to the point where they had a deal. They had a deal, going to sign a deal. And then Gorbachev said, but to seal the deal, you need to end Star Wars, which was the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, which was a space-based defense system. He said, um, you confine it only to the laboratory, and then we have a deal. And Reagan said what he'd been wanting to say for a long time. He said, "Niet, niet," walked away. "Niet" is no in Russian. Walked away. So the next day before he was departing, in fact, when he was meeting Gorbachev in Reykjavik, he was in the building first, and here come the limousines bringing Gorbachev. It's cold as hell, as you can imagine. And here is Gorbachev getting out of the car with, of course, a suit on, tie, and a huge heavy wool coat because it was so damn cold. And here's Reagan at his age walking out with just a suit on, ice cold, out there to meet him with no coat whatsoever. Everybody else is all bundled up. There's Reagan. But when they came back the next day, Gorbachev says, "I don't know what else I could have done." He said, "You could have said yes. No more negotiation, on a plane, back to the US." And the media exploded on Reagan. His cabinet exploded on Reagan. Hell, Dinesh D'Souza was a Reagan speechwriter, a young speechwriter at the time. He tells a story. But he said that, first of all, Reagan's popularity plummeted to 20% approval rating the very next day because the press was hammering Reagan. How could you possibly fail the American people this way? We had a deal. We had a nuclear arms reduction deal to make sure we never end up in a nuclear war. So Caspar Weinberger was railing on him, his defense secretary, all of them, Secretary of State, all of them pissed. And D'Souza said, "We learned that day." He was his top speechwriter. He said, we learned who the best speechwriter in his cabinet was. It wasn't any of us. It was him, because he took out a legal pad on the flight home with all this chaos, plummeting approval rating, rock bottom. And he writes a speech on a tablet, goes home, next day gives a speech to the American people, and basically summed it up and said, "I said I was not coming back to the United States with any deal that would not completely guarantee the safety of the American people." And end of story. That was his point. His approval rating shot over 80% the next day. That is what you call pure leader, when everybody around you, even your own counterparts and your friends, are hammering you, and you stand firm in a bucket of dry concrete. You're not moving 1 inch, not 1 inch. That's what a leader is. And that's what we all have the capacity to be. That's why I said when they launched the COVID bioweapon on us, masks and everything, and I kept telling the people, don't back up 1 inch, not 1 fucking inch. Don't flinch. Don't look behind you. Do not back up 1 inch to this global tyranny, not 1 fucking inch. Because once you do one time, just flinch, they got you. They psychologically got you. And all we got to do now is step on the gas. They come at you, step into them, lean into it. You step toward me to push me back, I'm taking a bigger step toward you. That's what a leader does. You are not going to move me. And that's who Reagan was. Bolsonaro, he exhibited the exact same characteristics at that time against a very powerful, menacing opposition that obviously had somebody come up and stab him right in the guts on a campaign trail just before the election one day. He's like, "Nah, we're not dropping out of the election."
No,
That's
no.
pure leader is.
And the moment he got stabbed, he immediately jumped into social media. And I remember my dad, he couldn't get into the social media in that time, 7, 8 years ago. My dad was every day listening to Bolsonaro. Although, and he was on the, Bolsonaro was on the hospital, was receiving hospital care and all the time talking to the people. He was always very vocal on, "I'm here for the people. I'm not here. They want me to, they want me killed. They don't want me here." And when you go anywhere, well, there are many people who doesn't like him, okay? And of course, there are those who are working for the government, receiving allowances. Those that say they are on the right wing, and they think Bolsonaro is too vocal about his ideas. I like it. I like it. I prefer someone that tells me something the way he does than someone who is betraying me. Because that's what I think of people that works for government. And here, this last days, we received the news published a list of the best professions you can have here in Brazil. All of them are serving direct the government. So Brazil is, despite the fact, oh, we are an open economy, we have the stock exchange, we are booming, we are the BRICS and blah blah blah. It's all blah blah blah. The 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 main businessman here in Brazil is the government. And Bolsonaro was always very vocal about this. We have to cut this, cut that, and well, we understand us. We understand that it's a broader. It's much larger than we understand. That we know that at least I know right now. But coming back to the movie it's not only about Bolsonaro, but about how politics, how an election is run, and what does the family of a candidate has to go through um, for a person who is putting himself in the line on the line. And anywhere you go, anywhere you talk to people who are hardworking, people like me, people like the ground, the real world people here in the ground on the ground. We They love Bolsonaro. They still love the father, not the family name.
Yeah.
They honor Jair Messias Bolsonaro, the president, the 38th president of Brazil. Okay, they all have him as an inspiration for their life. And because of their everyday problems, many are not as attached to the elections as they were in the past because of Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is very strong, the same way as Lula is very strong. Okay, they divided the country. For you to divide a country, you have to be a huge leader. And the same way Lula did, Bolsonaro did in the opposite. So they kind of,
You said he divided the country.
oh yeah, they divided many families. He divided many families. He divided many friendships. Yes. Bolsonaro was like a tipping point, the moment, oh yeah, we are friends, we have the same ideas for life, but when it comes to politics, I lost I lost many clients in my business because I supported Bolsonaro.
Oh, I see what you meant. He didn't divide a nation. His candidacy, his mere presence caused division between family members because you have pro-Trump family members and you have anti-Trump family members. And
Exactly.
it was it
Yes.
was it was ruthless. And what you find out when there's that kind of division, what you find out is who the true intolerant Marxist communists are because they're the ones that flip out. And if this is a candidate like Bolsonaro and you're a family member or friend, and I don't want to talk to you anymore, like I had a guy, he was a former client of mine. He was like a low-level director in Hollywood. He said, anybody who's in my friends list who voted for Trump, please unfriend me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no problem, Paul. Click, you're gone. I don't give a shit. That's how you people are. We didn't say that when we had this CIA built Muslim Brotherhood Manchurian traitor to the United States, Barack Obama. Um, we accepted it. We saw the stolen, we saw it all. But we didn't say we hate you because you voted for Obama. We just think, man, you're so stupid. You have no idea what's going to happen to this country. That's how we think. But we don't say, we're never talking to you again. I mean, my God, when I lived in Los Angeles, at least half of my clients were liberal Democrats, liberal Jewish Democrats that vote, Democrat. These are people I had dinner with, whose houses I spent time in, who would banter with me politically, like making fun of each other because they were, loved Obama and all that. We still had wonderful friendships. In fact, the guy who saved my life, a Ashkenazi Jew who took me in for 4.5 years to give me a chance to fight back and overcome the paralysis and the destruction of that gravedigger crash. Um, Democrat, lifelong Jewish Democrat, uh, voted Democrat. We were under the same roof for 4.5 years, and I love this man. He's like my second father. We got along just fine. But I have to say, as much as I love him, he even had projected some uncomfortable energy when Trump beat Hillary, and he hated Hillary. It didn't even vote for her. But even so, it's that mindset philosophy of these liberal Democrats, or in our country, that this isn't about I believe differently than you and your candidate won. Well, this is a great country. We accept and we, support whoever the president is or whatever. We accept it and we move on. Not them, not the left, not the Marxists, not the communists, not the Democrats. We hate you. We want your president dead, and we don't ever want to talk to you. Don't you dare come to Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. We don't want you anywhere. That's how they are. And that's
Yes.
exactly what it was like in Brazil when
With
Bolsonaro came in, family members.
oh yeah.
Yep. It
Yeah.
wasn't Bolsonaro supporters that said that. It was all the other people that hated him for what he
Mhm.
stood for. That's the way it is now.
And they still do. So for me, it's very difficult for me to say, not that it's difficult. I think it's unrealistic for someone who has been so outspoken about election fraud. Bolsonaro was very outspoken, very. He had many lectures with his his ministers and his cabinet with how can I say ambassadors from other countries. He was telling the elections are fraudulent, and you have it all recorded and it's all on YouTube. Everyone can watch. He was very he was pushing that to the media and everyone. Oh, he's crazy. He just want to keep his dictatorship, his family name. He's going to be the next royal family of Bolsonaro here in Brazil. But no, he was telling us. And as President Trump in 2020, he said he didn't concede to Joe Biden. In 2022, President Bolsonaro also didn't concede to President Lula. So a president who hasn't conceded, who hasn't said, yes, I accept your victory, he didn't leave. He didn't leave the office. He's for me, Anna. Okay, I may be cuckoo, I may be out of my marble. I don't care. Okay, for me, he is the president. He's the president. He
Yeah,
didn't concede. What
yeah.
we see
He knew they stole the election from him.
exactly,
He
and
knew it.
and I cannot turn a page of a book if I don't understand one of that chapters. You see, he was saying out loud to the media, "You are going to miss me. I'm going to be very pacific. I don't stimulate. I don't motivate anyone to go to the streets." He did it as Trump did. So I don't I really don't understand. There are moments in this movie, in all this operation that of course I won't understand, but I stick to Bolsonaro, to the father, to the Jair Messias Bolsonaro, and to his son, Carlos. Carlos is the one here on the left.
But if you can ask America a question, what would you ask? Can you predict the future?
On the left, on the page, on the here with Jim Caviezel.
Bottom
On
left
the
hand corner, folks.
yes,
Being with Jim
bottom.
Caviezel. Jim Caviezel's hands around Carlos. Carlos
Yeah,
is the
Carlos.
Bolsonaro that could take up the baton of his father, because he is that man.
Yeah, Carlos is still in Brazil. Carlos was the one who gave during 2018, during his campaign, he Carlos himself stepped aside his own career as a politician. He helped his father all the way through the presidency. When Bolsonaro was elected, Carlos was the only son Bolsonaro placed inside of the parade to parade with him side by side, and Michelle, the first lady of Brazil. So Carlos is, as my understanding, and they're very open. They publish it. As much as people can make it beautiful, I trust them. I trust Jair and I trust Carlos. Okay. I may be wrong and I may not be wrong. Most of my life, I haven't been wrong. But Carlos is the most loyal person to his father in my eyes. I know I don't know many things. And Carlos is still running on politics. He is in Santa Catarina, in another country, not in another state, not in Rio anymore. And he's the one here next to Jim Caviezel. And he's the one that is not very is not me mentioned out loud during the movie, which is probably it's
It was an over. It's a
yeah, it's
a,
because
it's an,
he doesn't need to be,
yeah,
everyone knows.
right.
Everyone here in Brazil knows about it. And anywhere you go, anywhere Bolsonaro used to go, it's like this. A lot of people together, a lot of people trying to to get a picture with him, to hold hands with him, because he goes to the bakery next to your house. You will see him in the diner. You will see him in the market. He's that guy. Yeah, he's like many Brazilian men, in a Sunday morning going to have bread, bring bread home. So his movie right now is being approved, probably to be presented to the public, I believe, still
In
this year
Brazil, in
in
Brazil.
Brazil,
Okay.
probably in
Mhm.
October, November, after the election. That's what I understand by reading this piece of article that was released this afternoon.
Mhm.
And well, whatever happens, I know by the executive orders, by the pictures that he has, that by the pictures that Lula has with Trump, we just have to, what we are doing right now, it's what we have to do. We have to go day by day, studying, enhancing our talents, making ourselves available to other people who look for information. And that's it. That's it. The big guys are doing their job, and us, we are following them, following along. And the moment they request our presence, we will be there with them. That's my take. And this is just episode 1 for the people to go and watch Dark Horse as soon as possible, because Brazil is part of United States. I'm sure they are. President Trump is very vocal on supporting the Bolsonaro situation. He's always taking with an important attention to his matter. And not I was beyond honored to watch Dark Horse alongside with you and Juan and Cranker for the first time. And now to be talking to you about Brazil.
Well,
Just the beginning.
this is something. It's important to me also these episodes, because we the people isn't just the United States. It's we the people of the planet, and they've separated us. And don't forget, when Trump talks about America first, he's not saying United States first. He's saying America first. That's North America, Central America, South America. This axis of the Americas has so much power and so much everything. We don't need Europe. We don't need anybody else. It's great to have. If we align with anybody, I want to align with Russia. But outside of that, they need to cut the cable on Europe. Let those knuckleheads sink or swim. I don't think they know how to swim. They're sinking. They flooded their countries with these Muslim radicals who has destroyed their culture. Paris is a shithole. Look at London, what they've done to these European nations, and I do feel for the people. Hey, Tommy Robinson, thanks for being you. Thanks for being that battle axe out there, putting yourself on the line. We were supposed to see Tommy last 2 weekends ago. We both were in the film. Remember the Alamo, Don't Shria My Texas. Tommy just come to the United States, got stopped by these milquetoast pussy British police, and they arrested him because he's come to the United States to join the premiere that we were all watching together in Dallas a couple weeks ago. But cut the cord. We don't need Europe at all. We've never needed Europe at all. We've been supplying their defense, paying for their national defense for 70 years while they've been stabbing us in the back so many ways. Anyways, but I like the idea of Trump talking about America first. That means all of America. And by the way, I just had this before we finish this show. I'm just wondering, I really had no idea that Brazil landmass was far larger than the United States. Now I'm wondering when we absorb back into the United States one of the original Confederate states of Canada, when we had the Articles of Confederation, Canada was still part of the United States. The British Crown came and hijacked them, made them believe that they were a British province. They're not. They're still part of this nation. That's why Alberta wants to hell out and wants to become the U.S. I wonder if we end up with Canada as the 51st state, if that landmass now makes us as big as Brazil. I'm very curious about that.
Well, once I had this one day. I'll talk about my when I have my insights, and Cranker knows, my sister knows. Sometimes I kind of know. I believe that Brazil is going to be the 53rd state.
Wouldn't that
After,
really?
yeah. Yeah, that's my inner feeling, because there's Canada, there's Mexico, and guys, I'm not saying that it is going to happen this way. We have to talk, to see about Greenland. We have to. There's so many things that already happened, but I feel in my heart, because President Kennedy has been to Brazil. This is going to be one of in our episodes here. President Kennedy came to Brazil, JFK, with his mother and one of his sisters in his way to Argentina. So he wouldn't step into, he traveled to the Amazon in the same trip. He went to Manaus at the Amazon. Then he came to Rio in his way to Argentina. So these guys are on the run. They are learning and connecting dots and paving the way for us for for a long, long time. And Brazil is always there. 1991 or 1992, I believe it's 1991. Princess Diana was here as well in Rio, and she pointed out Rio is a child trafficking area. You have to pay attention. And Michael Jackson came to Rio, you see. And Rio is a major, when we talk about this exopolitics information, they call it, and about the energy. Rio is a very powerful place.
Well, we'll pick that up on the next episode where we jump off from here. We just wanted tonight, folks, we're about 90 minutes into this. So what we're doing is we're laying the groundwork so you understand things about Brazil none of us ever learned, because again, in history class, they're not going to teach us real history anymore. They just make the shit up as they go, and for their purposes to make us believe what they want. but this is kind of an opener on learning about Brazil, what they mean to the United States. They obviously mean something very important to the United States' future and vice versa, because if it wasn't so, Juan Savin would not have said that Brazil is very important. The relationship between these countries moving forward in this world. I can see many ways, economic and otherwise, but a lot more work to do there and here. And, we will obviously continue to fight the same battle that we have been fighting for the last many years, many years. Um, but Anna, that was a great first introduction on probably nobody's had an introduction on what Brazil means and, you know, how the country came to where it is today and how important this film is in the evolution of this battle that's now spilling, covertly under the surface now, coming out onto the surface where people can see it. And it's all about telling the truth about what these nations are, what they stand for, how they were captured, and all that. But the great news is that they're losing. They're losing big time. Otherwise, we
Oh,
wouldn't be on this channel. We wouldn't be talking about Brazil like this. But
no.
those powers that be are losing all the time, every day. And we're just here to pour gas on that fire to get you, we the people, to stand up in your own country and certainly in your own counties and communities to take those back from the same type of people who were at the top doing the same thing, lying, stealing, using government or positions for their own posterity, their own self-service. We don't get this planet back to rebuild Eden until we wipe it out, even at the local level, counties, school boards, town councils, all this bullshit. These people, I don't, like I said this for the last 5 years, I don't care where you live. I guarantee you start looking into the people who are in these positions in these counties, boards, you're going to find out people are stealing money from you. They're stealing
Mm.
money from you. So, anyways, lying to you, hiding from you, but we're here to smoke them out. We're here to put them in front of you. Even small podunk areas like where I grew up here, we're going to put those people in front of you. Here's who's voting for tax increases on your board. Here are the ones that are fighting for you to not increase taxes because they keep fucking up and making horrible financial decisions because they have zero capacity to run a lemonade stand, let alone a multi-million-dollar budget, and they're driving your lifestyle into the ground because of their greed and stupidity and mistakes and lack of experience for really running an operation. Anyways, that's my little exit punch into the back of the brainstem of these crooks who are basically destroying the country, even at the lower level culturally. But Anna, great to have you here today. Any parting words on this particular episode before we call it a night?
Oh, I want to thank everyone to be with us here, listening about Brazil, listening to you. When you talk, you take us in your sound. It's like it is. For me, that's how it is. So Brazil is it's not only fun and women with women are very elegant here. This is something that I wanna touch. This is a topic that it's very important for me as a woman. Brazil has been portrayed everywhere in the world, especially the women from Brazil, in a very bad way, in a very demeaning, vulgar way. And women here are very hard workers. They work very hard. They struggle a lot to be respected. And when someone sees me, they will never think that I am from Brazil because they have this image that was created about Brazil, about carnival, about all the beaches and all the bad things. And this couldn't be far, couldn't be the worst. It was the worst thing they could have created because women from Brazil are Amazons. You see, we run as rivers. We are a force of the nature, and we are here to live it and to teach the children and to protect the children. And we had in Maria Leopoldina, which is my favorite character in history. She was the first mother of Brazil, and I hope every Brazilian always remember her. Not only Bolsonaro, not only the recent past, but the far past that we have, which is a beautiful story, a very beautiful story, and that's what we have to honor. The same way as you guys, you have to honor the pilgrims. We have a lot to honor, and we'll do it together right
Well,
now.
one last thing that I wasn't able to accomplish, but I have a very dear friend from Brazil, Ileana dos Santos. I actually, when she came to the United States, she was with a friend of mine. And anyways, because of their marital situation coming apart, she was going to be deported because she didn't qualify, for the 2 years into the marriage. And if there's a divorce, and uh, and she was divorcing because there was, well, I guess it's more private, but uh, uh, she was going to get divorced, even though it was going to put her in jeopardy because of her principles or whatever. I guess she felt she had to stand by. But so she was basically going to be deported to Brazil. But I found a very, very good immigration attorney, and she now remains in the United States, very happily married to a wonderful guy, and they have a child, and he sees me as one of his greatest friends ever because the girl that he was madly in love with wasn't deported, and she got to stay here in the United States. I reached out when we were in Vegas to see if I could get him to come by. And because they reached out to me recently, said, look, when you're in Vegas, you got to call us. We want to see you. We love you. We want to see you. Of course, when I called, nobody answered, so I left a message. But maybe the next time we're in, I'll make an effort when we're back there in September to get Ileana to come down to our event so she can see one of her Brazilian sisters. But beautiful girl, just a wonderful person. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But anyways, folks, that's episode 1 of our track on introducing Brazil to America, and also my special message to the Brazilian people. We are you, we are one. Um, if you understand how these things end, they end when we, the people, put down our divisions, put down our manufactured strife that was produced by the powers that want you to be that way, so you don't rise and find your own power in a Christ consciousness and become who you were born to be, not what they made you believe to be. And you start locking arms and walking in the same direction together against these government tyrants and thieves and killers. You will have the country you deserve, and you're going to. My question is, how long are you going to wait before you stand up and start mounting the same fight in masses of people like Anna is here? Like Anna's putting up, and her sister putting up a hell of a fight. She just needs to be joined by many, many thousands more of you doing what she's doing. And I assure you, once you build those numbers, that power structure will begin to crack. And when it starts to crack, other people will see it, they'll be motivated, and they'll move into the same position. And eventually you will topple these corrupt criminals who call themselves government. They are not government. They are usurpers of power, and you got to put an end to it. It ain't going to be done by Trump or the military. They're clearing the legal groundwork for us to be able to do what needs to be done. But it's always been about the people, we, the people. And with all that, Miss Anna, thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're going to circle back around next week and do episode 2 on Brazil. And
Perfect.
thank you very much for taking the time being here.
Thank you. I love you, Scott. You know that, and I love doing what we are doing. For me, I was homeless. I'm using a metaphor here. Okay, I was homeless. I was purposeless. I was faithless. I don't know if that words exist, but um, what God showed me in the last 40 years of my life now has made me understand
You know
why I'm
now,
here.
you
I
now know
know
why
now.
you were born.
Yeah,
You now
is
know why you were
exactly.
born.
And I hope many other people feel the same. We are waiting. We are just waiting for you. We are waiting for you,
All of
and we
you,
love you.
all of you.
Yes.
The second greatest day, folks, of your life is the day you're born. The greatest day of your life, it is when you figure out why. That's the greatest day of your life. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Anna Marin's down there in Brazil. On behalf of her and her warrior sister, we want to wish all of you the best, and we'll be back for episode 2 next week. Much love to all of you. And yeah, Tomahawk's mauling me. That means he wants his attention and he wants his food. So we got to wrap this up. So on behalf of all of us, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Patriot Street Fighter out. Hey folks, Scott McKay here, Patriot Street Fighter. Got a civil service update here tonight, perpetuated by a text message that I just received from a friend of mine, Jan, sent over this text, copied and pasted something to me. Here's what it says. It says, Maha here. The 2026 Farm Bill includes a provision that shields pesticide companies from lawsuits even when their products cause harm. A vote is happening right now. Anna Paulina Luna has introduced an amendment to remove this protection. Your representative, that's in Clearfield County, uh, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, your representative, Glenn Thompson, is deciding its fate and has received significant contributions from top pesticide manufacturer political action committees. Will he vote for them or will he vote for you? The votes this morning, call or email his office, and it goes into, might as well give you his number anyways if you want to call and shell his office because you know what he did. 202 225 5121. Or his email is faith dot tt, I'm sorry, faith dot tuttle at mailhouse.gov, mail.house.gov. I recommend reaching out Clearfield County, PA online, finding out his home office, and shell them too. Anyways, here's the update. Congressman Glenn Thompson went with the chemical companies, another political crook in Clearfield County, proven over and over and over. Why am I reading that to you? Because again, it's proof positive that these scumbags, these absolute scumbags, people in DC, the political class, state, local, again, they don't give a about you. They don't care. They don't care you're being poisoned. They don't care that your kids are suffering from cancer or dying from it. They don't care about any of this because they got the rails greased for their lifestyle. Scumbags. I can't believe I worked 16 years because I was planning on serving in that chamber in my lifetime. And obviously, most of you know my story. I walked away. Had enough. These people were criminals. So, anyways, this is a relevant point because this is proof positive there's no remedy for you from them. That's their job. They won't do it. So it's a solution. It's pretty simple. I've been talking about it for the last 3 years. Our solution is us, we the people. I got to say, it baffles me that with everything that has gone on in this nation, that we still do not have people standing up and pushing back like they do in Europe by the hundreds or millions of people show up in cities weekend after weekend. And I don't know, guess it's that Second Amendment we have that we think that that's our ultimate arbiter if things get bad enough. How bad does it have to get when you're being poisoned to death every day? Military intelligence showed us that in those drops back in 2018. Chemicals, baby on floor, hands in mouth, the start. That's when they start poisoning us. So when you look at this dynamic of they release themselves of bad karma if they tell us what they're going to do to us first, because it puts a responsibility on our shoulders. That's how the satanic machine works. They escape that karma because they tell us. If we move forward and go ahead and buy or consume their poisons, it's not on them. And I agree, it's not on them. They tell us. They tell us in their research, their science, their white papers, which they have to release. Yet, what do? As a mass population, continue to go to the markets and buy their products that lead to shortened lifespans or death or horrible death. So when this hit me a couple years ago, and I had to call myself out. I come from the wellness industry. Most of my adult life's in the wellness industry. I owned and operated wellness centers, had done the research, formed different startup companies and partners and all these things on the back of this kind of science and research we're learning about and what they're trying to do to us as a population, as society. Just basically send us into the murder machine, into big pharma's machine to keep us sick forever and just manage keeping us alive through the misery with all the drugs they hit us with. Again, caveat, there's very important work that they do. I'm a testament of that. But again, like anything else that's been infiltrated, there's always nefarious activities that need to be taken care of and eliminated. The only weapon we have is we are the people. We are the masses. We have the money. The greatest block of money in this nation is not in the hands of the rich. The massive wealth is held in the hands of we the people, and they need us. They need us to buy their crap. So as long as we continue to do this, we can't expect things to ever change. We all want a better world. We all want a better world, better lives for ourselves. None of it happens unless we change. It's not about them changing. They're not going to. Their formula works. They make great progress, killing us off, putting us into their machine of illness and disease so they can quote unquote manage that by shooting us with their petrochemical drugs and killing us through the chemotherapy system, all that stuff that people still continue to walk into, which I don't baffles me. Um, so what's the remedy? What I've been talking about, Operation Tomahawk. We identified a company almost 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and for 40 years they've done nothing but one thing: non-toxic products, non-toxic. Their whole company was built on, not because it's a modern thing today, it's a point of conversation.
Ready to show off your live gameplay? Start streaming with Rumble Studio.
It's easy, it's seamless,
You can now multi-stream up to 4K quality to all your favorite platforms.
including Twitch, YouTube, Kick.
They did it from day one, the very first day they opened the doors. Real products, real people, non-toxic. And today they actually directly manufacture over 550 products. So when I learned of this company and I learned that they were the answer to BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, controlling the 11 major multinational corporations who have bought up 230 or 40 of these other major companies that we all been buying from for 50 years, I thought, okay, here's a solution. We have a one-stop shop. Multi-billion dollar company, built over 40 years, never had a penny of debt to build their, imagine that, not a penny of debt, not one. They do billions a year. 2.5 million plus people, an average of about 30, 40,000 a month right now are moving out of their system of the death machine into this company's purview, into their realm, where now they can replace everything in their house with non-toxic products from one company. That's what we did a couple years ago. We created a massive avalanche with Operation Tomahawk. It was a spectacular expansion. And, still today, here we are. Every week, we still have more people just coming in with many, many, many thousands of people have decided to make that shift and stop buying from these killers. The world changes when we change, not before. Nothing else is going to change on the other side. And nothing else is going to change in Washington, D.C. The politicians are bought and paid for crooks and criminals, liars, thieves, and killers. I've been saying this for years. People are finally waking up. The evidence is coming out. The proof is now here. I wasn't being sensational. I was being pissed off because I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I had to do this, turn the camera on, microphone, and start raising Cain because our solution, which I realized that I was trying to be a part of for a decade and a half, that's not the solution. They're never going to ever do what's right for you. Because once they're in there, believe me, it's the best life they'll ever have. Because many of them are shit bags outside of Washington. They had nothing else going on in their world. And believe me, they're never going to give it up. The system is built to make them think they're special and important. As long as they keep carrying the water of the criminal class, they get to stay there and live their lives in a way that you can never live it. So I highly recommend you continue to think through where you give your money. Every time you take that card out or that cash, you go to these consumer product stores, whatever they are, Walmart, Target, whatever. Every time you do that, you're feeding the beast. You're feeding the killer. We give you an option. Go to operationtomahawk.com, operationtomahawk.com. Check out what we're doing. If it makes sense to you, put your information in. Somebody will contact you, one of my people. And by the way, very important, because I'm looking out for you. If you decide that you want to take a look at Operation Tomahawk, potentially become part of what we're doing, do what I did, wipe my house out. All the products in here, threw them in the trash. They're all carcinogenic, toxins, poisons, neurotoxin. In the trash. I replaced everything. I get it from one source now. So if you by chance put your information in and you are not contacted by one of my people, or there was an appointment or a time set up by one of my people to show you what we're doing, and they blow it off and they don't do it, please, 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 please send me an email. PatriotStreetFighter@gmail. Hey, Scott, I had an appointment, or I wanted more information. Nobody showed up, or nobody met the appointment time they said they were going to be at. Does it happen? Yeah, that's why I'm talking to you right now. If that ever happens to any of you, send me an email. I'll make sure I handle you personally, and I will handle that person personally who didn't follow through. So, that being said, I'm going to say it very distinctly again. Stop funding your killers. Stop giving your money to this murder machine. Check out what we're doing. Replace everything you got with non-toxic. And the beef operation, by the way. Founding chairman has one of the largest beef operations in the nation now. 70,000 head of cattle. Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Texas, ranch land, even in Hawaii. Open range beef. No pens, fences, open range cowboys. That's how they run it, just like Yellowstone, the movie, the TV show. That's how it's done. A little differently, though. They're not putting them on box cars and tractor trailers and all that and shipping them to the slaughterhouse. They built a processing plant on the ranch, a $200 million sophisticated manufacturing processing facility, the most sophisticated manufacturing plant in the country, not just of beef, but period. That sophisticated. It was nominated by one of these independent government agencies or whatever. It's what it is. They walk them right in. No trauma, no cattle prods. They have everything done in a humane fashion. No antibiotics, no hormones, no mRNA vaccines, none of that. Your beef isn't safe anymore. I'm just telling you that right now. They're hitting cattle with mRNA vaccines to get it in your body one way or another. It's the best beef you'll ever taste. And I say that having gotten beef off my cousin's family farm for a long time. And that's the best beef I've ever eaten. And I had to say, no doubt a parallel with Riverbend Ranch. You eat one of their steaks, you'll see. And not only that, the price shipped right to your door. Less than half the cost of Omaha steaks. The difference is the stuff I bought from Omaha Steaks in the past, my opinion, crap. These guys only send us the two highest grades of beef there are. High Choice and Prime, the two highest USDA grades, High Choice and Prime. That's it. That's the only kind of, even in Hamburg, that's all we get for less than half the price of Omaha Steaks. So there's a big offer here. Check it out. If it makes sense, great. Connect with one of us. We'll give you a quick tour. Here's how you become a shopping member. Just make the switch. Switch from the poisons and toxins and the vaccinated beef. Switch to protecting your family and going non-toxic. Anyways, I'm Scott McKay, Patriot Street Fighter out.
We did not engage in conflict that was out of line with our mission.
Is it disloyalty? Is it sedition? Is it treason to oppose the hands of tyranny? Never!
I will never send troops anywhere on a mission of that kind without telling them that if somebody shoots at them, they can darn well shoot back.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty! Oh, give me death!
A dark cloud is finally lifting across the world as U.S. military intelligence and their global partners are destroying the deep state criminal power structure that has ruled over our planet for hundreds of years.
We are free with the God-given right, and we shall not yield that right to any power on earth.
Hi, I'm Scott McKay. The world is at, and I am your host on The Tipping Point on Revolution Radio, where every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we bring you the latest in this ensuing takedown of this global criminal empire.
That's an image of strength.
You'll get the raw, hard truth here on The Tipping Point. So come join us Mondays, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern in Studio B at revolution.radio.